Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Sara Kyle. Dr. Sara Kyle has spent the last 13 years researching, designing, writing, and implementing resident well-being programs across the continuum of care, from leading and overseeing programming across 108 skilled nursing, assisted living, and memory care communities to overseeing the charge for holiday retirement to transform their resident program into 260 communities. Sara thrives in challenging settings. Sara is widely known and respected in the industry. She presents at national conferences, pens articles in notable publications, and serves on various advisory boards. Well, good afternoon, Sara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, Sara. I appreciate you jumping on. I know we talked a little bit before the podcast, and I understand a little bit more of your background. But what I'd like to do is jump into the questions so we can share your story with our global audience. So, Sara, you've got quite the career in healthcare as an entrepreneur and now the founder and principal at LE3 Solutions. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
You know, this is such an interesting question and one that I wish there was a spectacular story behind it. Truth be told, I'm inspired, I think, most by the setbacks. I've had my role and department eliminated twice in large organizations, and it really just angered me more than anything and kind of lit a fire to prove why it's such a need when we talk about older adults and this idea of engagement and lifestyle. So, the secret was really not giving up. And more than anything, I have this ongoing urge to just learn. And as I allow myself to learn more, I see what I did not so well in the past. And I honestly think that's what's allowed me to be successful, is learning from my mistakes.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I think everybody has, and you see it all the time, posted that, mistakes are not mistakes, they're actually learning opportunities. And, that obviously is something I would say as a common thread throughout a lot of the guests here on the show. So I appreciate you sharing the things that, didn't take you down, actually made you stronger. So appreciate that. And Sara, as you know, this is the big one around the pandemic. Everybody globally has had to make these major pivots to adapt to the new normal. Could you share with us what you're doing to help your organization stay relevant in this economy?
We're going on 7 months into this, to LE3 Solutions as a brand and as a company. And the pandemic has actually been quite helpful in starting a business, leveraging LinkedIn as much as you can. There's so much traffic and connection opportunity there, but also just being able to meet virtually. I'm in Florida, but have clients globally now. And before the pandemic, that would have never been an option, I don't think, as a startup. So really just embracing all of the tech, and as much as we have Zoom fatigue, really being appreciative of those platforms and those web-based platforms that allow you to connect with anyone at any time.
You're absolutely right. I think, there was a lot of virtual tools and opportunities before the pandemic, but that has certainly accelerated. And in fact, a lot of tools, and I guess I would say, technologies have accelerated or innovated during this time. So I appreciate the share on that. And Sara, are you leveraging any new or emerging technology in your business? If not, maybe it's a cool tool or app you could share with us today.
Yeah, so it's interesting as we talk about tech, and I love the space of tech as it relates to older adults and senior living. But what we have found to be most received, or well received, is almost taking it back a little bit and letting the tech do the efficiency work, whether that's integrations. I was just working on taxes, and everything is in seconds connected, and it's easier than ever. So leveraging those simple technologies, I think, to do business as a personal startup. But then this idea of plain language is really taking center stage in what we're doing. We just talked about this ongoing conversation and what's happening over web-based meetings. There's a lot of talking. I think we've missed out on the simplicity that pictures and interaction can provide us with. And so we have found some really cool app-based tools, super affordable, to just do the grunt work of graphic design and infographics. And we find that our infographics are really speaking to people in a different way. We talked about this idea that the human right now has an attention span of about 8.5 seconds. And so when we think about long blogs and writings, do we have the attention span for that right now?
I don't think people do in this socially media world we live in today. People are constantly in that iPhone prayer, as you know, looking down at their phone. It seems 24/7. So I totally agree. And I wish we could bring this back to the way it used to be. We need some time out from some of these tools. Even though they make our lives easier, I think they add a lot more to our hectic schedule and anxiety today. So Sara, can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in healthcare or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I would say never. I didn't have a dream or an aspiration. I didn't have a mentor that was an entrepreneur. It wasn't a part, we didn't own a family business. It was so foreign to me. I always thought working for a corporation was kind of the top pinnacle that you could be at. So, how I feel like I got myself here, and I was thinking about this when I look back at why I think this is a good fit, I realized there was a way that I looked at problems. And when I saw problems in my job or my business, I didn't want to solve the problem that was right in front of my face. I continually wanted to solve the reason, the fundamental reason why that problem was being presented. And I know that's a little bit of a different concept, but I think for people, if your brain wants to go like research and figure out how to solve where this problem starts, there's this spirit of entrepreneurship in you that kind of just continues to grow. And so don't think that it's too complicated. I love what I'm doing now, and it doesn't feel like work, and the hours are different and sometimes they're longer. And I don't have the 3 or 5 year plan like you would in a large organization and someone else helping you craft that. But it's just rewarding. And there's something so refreshing about being able to make decisions and see those decisions be fulfilled immediately, rather than maybe years down the road. So, never say never would be my thing, and always leave that door open, because you have to have some grind to get started. But man, if you can get some momentum going, it's a whole new ballgame.
You're absolutely right, Sara. Many of us on this platform, including myself, have been waist deep in the trenches of doing the grind as an entrepreneur, and then seeing the fruits of your labor is just simply amazing. So appreciate your share on that. And Sara, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's important. So this is my second go round. I got laid off one time and I tried to start LE3 Solutions in 2017, and it didn't work. I jumped out too soon. And so second time around, my husband's like, Sarah, you got to stay in 12 months no matter what happens. And so I think that would be, you've got to give it some time.
I totally agree. Time and some effort will certainly, again, you will see the payoff or the fruits of your labor at some point, but you got to get the momentum going, as you stated. So Sara, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye for now.